Hi everyone and welcome to Season 12, Episode 5 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So we've just been through the January transfer window and a bunch of fixtures in January as well. The fixtures have gone pretty well, all things considered, because there were some very hard games in there. But the transfers have actually gone very well. 2 in, 2 out. I'll let you see them in a second. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Truro City. So here we are in the start of early February in our 12th season. We've been through the January transfer window. We will get to those transfers in just a second. But just first off, we're going to go into the fixture list. What we'll notice here is that we had a lot of losses in January, but for goodness sake, we played Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester United again, and Manchester City. And then the last match that we played in January, you'll see, we took the points from Manchester City at home. We played at home and we beat them 2-1. It was an amazing performance. We were in the game all the way through. And that 73rd minute winner from Abu Bakar gave us 3 points that we weren't really expecting. Other than that, you can see that there was some really tricky games. We lost out to Liverpool in the Cup, the FA Cup. We lost out to Manchester United in the Carabao Cup, which is the League Cup. In terms of the Premier League itself, we had that game against Bournemouth where we won 2-1. We then lost to Chelsea 2-0. We drew against Blackburn. We lost to Tottenham. We won against Derby. And then we won against Manchester City. And all of that means that in terms of Premier League form and status, we currently sit in a very, very creditable 11th position. 25 matches played. A lot of teams around us haven't played their 25th match yet. So at least one team can leapfrog us. And that's Tottenham, who are sitting below us in the league. Quite what's happened to them, I have no idea. But yeah, it's going fantastically well. Relegation is not really something I'm thinking about anymore for this particular season. Last season, we stayed up. I think it was about 36 points that kept us up last season. And with 13 matches still to play, we've already got 35 points on the board. So we are staying up. Absolutely, we are. It's now just about in those last 13 matches. Could we find ourselves in a top half of the table finish, in 10th position maybe? It's possible. I don't know how likely it is, but it's possible, but we'll give it a really good go. And we've played quite a lot of the big boys recently, so there's a good run of fixtures coming up. All of that means that we are in the best position that we could possibly imagine. And it then was the January transfer window. Now, a couple of teams came in for a couple of my periphery players, and the board also gave me a bit of transfer money. So it was fantastic. We've still got a lot left, actually. Financially, we're doing very well. But what it all meant was I could then go and look for a very good alternative player to the ones that we lost. And I think I managed it. So let's go and have a look. So before we look at the actual ins and outs for January in terms of players coming in out of the club for January itself, we're going to look at a future transfer. I found this guy, Joan, at Barcelona, is a young 18-year-old central defender, and he's going to join us on a free transfer in the summer. I don't think he's the finished article by any stretch at the moment, but what you can see in here is a real potential. And if we can get this guy playing, he's going to probably be a replacement for Colombini, who's currently in on loan for us, the youngster from Inter Milan. He's probably not going to stick around. So this guy comes in to fulfill that role as a young central defender in and around our squad. And what we've got here basically is potential future financial gain, to be honest. So he's going to come in July, basically. And I think he's going to be able to play for us. I don't think he's just going to sit there and rot in the reserves or anything. This guy will be able to get some game time. We'll improve him. And then maybe we'll be able to sell him on for a profit if that's what we need to do. But Joan comes into the club in July. So that's one for the future. For now, though, what we got in the January window was 2 players left the club, and those 2 were Sarmiento and Herbie Kane. Sarmiento has been around the club for a very long time and is nowhere near good enough anymore for the Premier League. His mentals are all right, his physicals are all right, he's got a good dribbling, but that's about it. And there's a lot of gaps there. And at 29 years old, they came in, wanted to pay about £9 million, something like that, I think it was. And so in the end, I took it and then went looking for a replacement. So if we bear in mind exactly what Sarmiento had to work with in terms of his attributes, we'll go and look at his replacement. And I was looking for one primarily down the right-hand side, because I also think in the summer it's time to move Wright Phillips on as well and just get a better player in. So the one that ultimately we went for is this guy, Bondor. And we got him in from Cluj. And here's a right-sided option, but you can see that whilst he doesn't have crossing, because he's more of an inverted winger, an inside forward type role, I think this guy's going to be decent for us. 26 years old, Romanian. We bought him in for only a few £1 million. It wasn't a big deal at all financially for us. The physicals are decent enough. I'd like a little bit more pace, but you know, that's fine. Mentals are where it's at. He's got some very good mentals, and I think cutting in off of that right hand side from slightly deeper, we will play him in that slightly deeper role to start with and see how he copes with it. I think he can potentially get to the top of the box and have a few long shots at goal and maybe help us out with that. So he comes into the club. He's going to be a rotating option in this first season. White will still remain as our number 1 choice down that right-hand side. But Bondor comes into the club, and I think he's a definite upgrade on Sarmiento. He's even a really decent upgrade on Wright Phillips. If we go and find Wright Phillips, who he'll basically take the position of next season more so than this season, look at that graph. Wright Phillips in the blue, Bondor in the green, and you can see, other than a little bit of speed, Bondor is better than Wright Phillips in every way possible. We have definitely got ourselves an upgrade here, and not for too much money, really. So Bondor comes into the club on our right-hand side, and it's a very similar position in the heart of our defensive midfield area. Herbie Kane has left the club, really, because of his physicals. He's 33 years old. His physicals have gone completely. He's got reasonable mentals and technicals, but it's not enough in the Premier League anymore. He was doing all right for us, but we needed an upgrade, really, to move us forward. So Herbie Kane leaves the club, and his replacement to come into that holding midfield role behind Gonzalez, who will still remain as our number 1 choice, is Sambol. And Sambol is a really good young Croatian player, 21 years old. Again, not complete. His technicals are not fantastic everywhere, but he's got enough in the physicals and the mentals to help him out as a destroying defensive midfield player. We're just going to get him to win the ball. That's all we want him to do, basically. So he comes into the club and sits behind Gonzalez in the pecking order, but it's going to be a decent acquisition for us, I think. And again, if we look at the two side by side, Herbie Kane and Sambol, there's a lot of good stuff here from Sambol. Now, other than the attacking side of the game, which I don't really want him to be focused on, which Kane was slightly better at, Sambol is pretty much better at everything else. So I think we've got a better player for the style of setup that we've got. So those two have come into the club, Sambol and Bondor, and I think improved things. We've got rid of a couple of bits of slight deadwood. I think there's a couple more to get out in the summer just to keep us moving forward. I tried to sign a central midfield player, but it didn't quite work out. The big problem we've got 50 million in the transfer fund and 195k a week to spend, but we cannot attract any really very decent players at the moment. And to move our squad forward, I don't just want another average one. I want to better our squad. And actually, that's proving really hard to do. So we'll see. If we can get a mid-table finish in the Premier League, hopefully that will just cement our Premier League status a little bit and mean a few more players might be looking a bit more interestedly at coming into the club. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But that is for another day. For today, we get Crystal Palace in the league. And Crystal Palace are currently sitting in 16th position. We're in 11th. Hopefully that means that we've got a good opportunity today to put on a good show and get some more points. And we're at home. But of course, having just beaten Man City, basically we're going to lose the next game, aren't we? Just because that's how Football Manager works. But let's see if we can change that and do something slightly different. So, unfortunately, we do have a couple of injury issues for our first team squad. Fenn and Thompson are out at the moment. Thompson is out for the next 3 to 7 days. He pulled a groin muscle. And then Fenn, unfortunately, has been out for a couple of weeks already. He's got about another 2 weeks to go, 1 or 2 weeks to go. He twisted an ankle. He's out for 3 or 4 weeks in total. And he is our number one left-back choice at the moment. But we've got some decent enough rotating replacements. So it's not terrible. It's just a little bit disappointing that we can't put out a solid first team squad with no problems. Dudita on the bench has also got a little bit of a fitness knock, but it won't be terrible for him. We've also got a couple of slightly low players in terms of their general condition at the moment. They've had to play a lot of games. We're going to be giving them a rest fairly soon, but for today's match, I just felt we needed to try and keep the momentum of beating Man City and keep us moving forward. And to do that, we have put a couple of those slightly lower conditioned players on the pitch, but not all of them. I've taken Gonzalez out. This is our number one choice in the defensive midfield option just at the moment. But now, of course, we've got Sambol, the new option. He'll go in and play, so that's going to be interesting to watch. The other new guy, Bondor, is on the bench because, as I say, White, who's been playing well for us down that right-hand side, will hold on to that position just for now. So that's all good. So for today's match against Crystal Palace in the Premier League, we go with Wendell in goal, Williams at right-back, Benamor at left-back, Mavropanos and Colombini in central defence, Sambol, Goodwin and Morrison in central midfield, White on the right, Izvikov on the left, and Abu Bakar up top, with a bench of Nelson, Fink, Gonzalez, White, Bondor, Dudita and Henderson. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I've pumped the fist and told them to get out there and put on a performance worthy of the fans and give them something to cheer for today. We're at home against a lower level side in the Premier League currently as we speak. So we've got to find a way to take these moments and give ourselves the advantage in them and potentially get some points on the board if we can, just to keep ourselves moving forward. As I said earlier in the intro, I'm not worried about relegation anymore. That's done and dusted as far as I'm concerned. Is now about how high can we finish, and I'm not expecting anything, but I'm kind of just hoping that we keep an even keel over the next 13 matches and find a way to sit somewhere in between like 10th and 13th, somewhere around there. I would imagine would be great for us, really. So let's hope that we can take some points today to help us with that. So far, very, very quiet. 28 minutes in and no highlights to show at all. 5 shots on goal, 3 on target, 6 and 2 for them. Their XG rating suggests they should have a goal already. Ours, not so much, to be honest. We had a little bit more possession, but it's been a very, very quiet first half. I don't know whether that will suit us or not in terms of what that will mean for the second half and how we go, but there's a very limited amount of things I could do about that first half, really. I didn't want to upset the apple cart at all. I just wanted to let them play and see what they can do. And what they could do was what do I want to say? I want to say they had more shots at goal than Palace did, but neither team really challenging the keeper. And in the end, 50-50 in possession says a lot, really. It's a bit of a nothingy game so far. So we can go into the team talk at halftime, try and boost them up a little bit. And how will I do that? Let's think about this. I don't want to thrash the arms about. That's too much. I might point the finger and say I'm not happy with the performance. I'm not unhappy, but I just think that there is a chance for everybody to be playing better than they are and be a little bit more impactful. So we're going to go with that. It had a little bit of a negative impact here and there, but we are going to go into the tactical side of things, and we're just going to up our mentality from balanced into positive and see if we can get going in this second half a little bit better and quicker than we did in the first half. We're also going to go into the shouts and fire them up, see if we can put a rocket under them and get them properly moving in this second half. There was nothing from Palace or ourselves in that first half that suggested that we are doing anything really to threaten the goals of either side, really, other than the statistic that suggests that Palace should have had a goal by now from their expected goals ratio. So there's something to worry about there, but ultimately we just need to focus on ourselves and see if we can find a way to get through on goal. Now, the other thing to say, at 69, 70 minutes on the clock, still absolutely no highlights. And we've now got some very tired players. I made the decision to play a couple of slightly jaded players, and we do need to now change that up a bit. So Neco Williams is sort of on his feet, out on his feet. So is White. So is Morrison. Those are three that I'm going to basically have to change. I don't want to risk any injuries other than potentially White has already picked one up. So we're going to take Williams out and we're going to put Fink in. We're going to take White out, and there's the new boy Bondor. And we're not going to play him on a winger support. We're going to play him as the inverted winger. And so he's going to cut in and try and get ahead of the play a little bit and see what we can do there. And we'll see how that works out for him. And then the last player to come out is Morrison, and we're going to put Joe White in instead. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to undo that. And we are going to open up the tactics a little bit. And what we're going to do instead is we're going to put Henderson on instead of Morrison. And we're going to push Henderson up alongside Abu Bakar and see if we can play with two up top. We're not going to change anything else. It looks a little bit wonky. The style of play remains the same. I just want to see if we can get a couple more opportunities. So we're going to put him in as a supporting, pressing forward alongside Abu Bakar as the advanced forward. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to see if that works for us. We're going to come back out. We're going to go into the shouts immediately and demand more from them. And see whether for the last 15, 20 minutes we can actually find a route through on goal. And here we are, everybody. This is what we call in Football Manager a highlight. It's been really dull so far, but we are on the ball. Sambol on the ball, drops it back to Mavropanos. Fink up, high supporting play on the right-hand side. Abu Bakar lays it off for Izvikov, and he blasts the shot, but it goes narrowly wide along the floor of that near post as we look at it, and just wide. So it didn't quite challenge the keeper as much as maybe we should. We've got a few minutes left to go, 5 or 6 minutes left. We're going to go back into the tactics page and just see if we can change some of these instructions up a little bit. We're going to go attacking because Palace haven't shown much against us, really. We're going to go slightly more direct and higher tempo. We are still going to run. We're going to shoot on sight, increase the attacking width a little bit. In terms of in transition, we are going to put the counter-attack on. We're going to take away distribute to the centre-backs. We're going to let the goalkeeper decide where he wants to go. He's been playing brilliantly. Wendell has been our highest average rating for this season in goal, so that's fantastic. We're going to go the much higher line of engagement as well and just see whether any of that can just help us unlock a couple of chances in the last couple of minutes of this game. So we've confirmed those changes, gone back out. We've got 6 or 7 minutes left with that little bit of injury time as well. And of course, we've made the changes. So of course, it's the opposition that now have a chance. But on this occasion, we just about survived. Utter madness in the box. It ricocheted all over the place. And eventually, we got it cleared. One last chance maybe, and it's a Palace highlight. And they're working down the right-hand side. We've got a lot of players back. We don't quite get to the ball. That was possibly the fastest shot I've ever seen on Football Manager. Unfortunately for us, it was narrowly wide. And we get a slightly dull 0-0 draw. 14 shots at goal, 6 on target, 16 and 5 for them. Our XG rating, though, of 0.6 suggests that we did not create the chances for a goal today. Their XG rating of 2.2 suggests that they missed a couple of really golden chances, and we are a little bit lucky to come away with a point. But it's a point nonetheless against a tricky opposition. Didn't really know what we were going to expect. So we're going to go hands together. You were unlucky tonight. I don't know if we were, to be honest, but we'll try and keep that, keeping the morale high, and we'll come out of there and we will go and see what difference that has made to our league position and what other teams have done around us, basically. Anywhere in that sort of middle third, so what would that be, like 8th through to like 13th or something, somewhere around there, I will happily take. If we finish somewhere in there this season, I will be ecstatic with that. And currently we're sitting very comfortably in 11th place. We are 3 points clear of the likes of Tottenham behind us, but they've got a game in hand. But we are only 1 or 2 points behind the next couple of teams above us who also have a game in hand. So we are not done yet. There's a long way to go with about 12 games for us to play left. So let's go and check out what's coming up next episode. Right, so first off, we'll talk about the fact that White, our right-sided midfielder, did pick up a knock. He's only going to be out for a week, so it's not too bad. A little bit disappointing, but he'll be back fairly soon. We've got some tricky fixtures still to play. Leicester on the horizon immediately for me to play off the episodes. And then in April, we've got a really tough run of fixtures with Arsenal, Man United, West Ham and Liverpool, and they're all pretty much in and around that top 4 or 5 of the Premier League. So that's going to be tricky. So where we're going to fit the next episode in, we've got 2 more episodes coming of this season. The last one obviously against Aston Villa at the end of the season. So we're going to come in this middle point and play this game here at home against Arsenal at the beginning of April in the Premier League, just before we play Man United, West Ham, Liverpool. So the beginning of that big run. So we'll see whether we can pick up some points between now and then against the likes of Leicester, Leeds, Watford, Southampton, Newcastle. And then that big month in April, can we get any surprise points from that just to cement that mid-table finish for us? It's been really, really good. I've been absolutely ecstatic. I knew that getting Abu Bakar back and scoring goals from last season's injury, where he was out for 3 or 4 months, was going to be key. But we've made some good signings as well, I think. We are continuing to improve our squad, and we will continue to do that in the summer because our finances look pretty good at the moment. So watch this space for that. But before that, a couple of episodes left to do of this particular season. Come back next episode and we'll play that Arsenal game, and I'll catch you up on everything that happened in between time. But until then, thank you for watching me and joining me today. I really appreciate it. Take the time to subscribe to the channel if you would. That will just be fantastic for the continued growth of my channel, and it will also help you join my United City community. Click the like button on this particular episode. That will help me get seen by lots more people and will help to continue to grow the channel. Until next time though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.